Hello, fellow traders. Nutty Bar Trading coming to you on a Monday, July the 3rd. And in today's video, going to be a little bit different video. This is a correction video. Yesterday, I'm sure you're aware, Topstep came out with some big changes. And I did a review video of those changes. Basically, hey, kind of my opinion on the changes and if it was really good for the trader or not. And in that video, I made a mistake. I was 100% incorrect on how I explained the account fees and data fees. So I want to make that right. And this is the video where I'm going to do that. And I'm going to basically, once this video is uploaded, I'm going to take the other video down. I think it's the right thing to do. I don't want to have a video out there where I'm spreading incorrect information and misinformation on a company. So I think that's the right thing to do. But I am going to kind of review the Topstep changes. It's going to seem maybe a little bit repetitive. If you watched yesterday's video, this video might seem a little bit repetitive because basically this video is going to replace that video, and I'm going to kind of try and share my thoughts on the Topstep changes. So let's just get started. Obviously, the mistake I made was I thought that you have the activation fee of $149 once you get to the express funded account. I thought you still had the data fees, and that is incorrect. You do not have the data fees on the express funded accounts. You only have that $149 activation fee. And then after that, as far as I know, you don't have any additional fees per month outside of that activation fee. So that's where I made the mistake. And I want to correct that in the beginning of this video before we kind of go down and look at all the changes that they made. So we might as well dive right in. I'm going to try and keep this video relatively short, hopefully in 10 minutes or so. But yeah, I do all my videos in one take. So yeah, I have a tendency to ramble. So it seems like they always go too long. But anyway, I do want to say, if you appreciate the content, I do appreciate everyone's support. Yeah, hit that subscribe button. I do trading live every day. It is very important to me that I'm fully transparent to you guys. So you'll see basically good, bad, and ugly on my account if you want to follow along. But let's get started. So I'm just going to switch screens here. And I'm just going to just kind of help me go through the changes that they made. And then I'm just going to comment on each of these changes and maybe, point out what they didn't mention or what my opinion on some of these changes. So again, this is my opinion. Feel free to share your opinion in the comments below. So the first one was earn funding in as little as 4 days. So obviously that is a 30%. They changed to a consistency rule instead of having, I'm not even sure what their minimal traded days were before. I'm not sure on that, but basically, for example, with Apex, you have to trade for a minimal of 7 days. And let me just kind of explain the two different scenarios. And that can maybe help. I don't really plan to make this a comparison video, but it does help to compare a little bit to understand if these changes are good for you or not. But they eliminated having a minimum amount of days that you need to trade. But in place of that, they put in a consistency rule. So now you can't have your profit per day be more than 30% on any day. What that means is, for example, on a $3,000 funded account, it's pretty easy to do. Just take $3,000 and divide it by or times 30%. That is $900. So now you take $900. Obviously, you can't have any day that is more than $900 in profit. So if you take 9 times 3 or 9 times 4 days, you can understand that's over that $3,000 profit threshold for a 50K account. And that's how they get to earn funding in as little as 4 days. Now, the downside to that is basically you have to be very careful not to make too much money. That's going to be very important. For example, if the first day you make $2,000, or maybe you don't have a profit target set and you walk away from your desk and you come back and, oh wow, look at that, the market went up XYZ and now you have $2,000 in profit that first day. Now you have a problem, because $2,000 you would need to get close to $7,000 in profit instead of $3,000. So you basically would need to keep trading and consistent, your profit threshold instead of 3,000 would be closer to 7,000. So now you just made it a lot harder to pass that evaluation account. And there's no going back. Once you have that day where you have that much profit and you're over the 30%, you can't undo that. So everything is going to be based off of that day. Now, obviously, you can try to lose money, if you're still in that day, which would be the smart thing to do. But I have discovered that sometimes if you have to lose money, it's just as difficult as if you had to make money. But again, that's just me. But those are things that you really need to be aware of, because let's just, for example, take a different prop firm. I don't even want to compare Apex only, but let's just say a different prop firm doesn't have a consistency rule on their evaluation, and you only need to trade for 7 days. What that means, that first day, if you have a really good, let's say we have a really nice uptrending day. And I know I personally have passed quite a bit of evaluations in this way, where we have a really nice uptrending day. I will buy some evaluation accounts and just ride that wave. And I can get to that $3,000 profit target in 1 day. And if you have only a set amount of days you need to trade with no consistency rule, you can do that. And then the remaining days, you can just trade micros till to account for a traded day until you get to the minimum traded threshold in days. So those are kind of the pros and cons to, obviously Topstep is going to present this as a good thing, but there are some drawbacks to that consistency rule. Me personally, I would rather have a minimum amount of days traded. I would much rather be able to, if I see a really good trendy day, get in and ride that wave. That's just my personal opinion again. Then the next change, ability to pay yourself weekly as Topstep funded trader. Have trading days of at least $200 each. Doesn't have to be consecutive, and take a payout. Now, obviously this is a change, but this change really wasn't for the better of the trader. It used to be that you only had to make $100, not $200. So they basically doubled that. Now you have to make $200 for 5 days, but it doesn't have to be consecutive. But, especially people that are trying to really take it slow and grow their account slowly, that is a problem, or that can be a problem. And it forces you, you have to have $200 in profit per day for 5 days before you can request payout. Obviously, again, to me, I think, that wasn't really a change for the better of the trader. It made it more difficult to request payouts, my opinion. And then active step one traders, obviously, they eliminated the two-step program, which I think pretty self-explanatory to do that. That was, much needed. Again, so they made those changes. I think that's great, but obviously was much needed and expected. And then the active step two traders, they don't see any changes, so that really didn't affect them. And then obviously the only one rule, talked a little bit about that, but the only one rule is insinuating that the only way to actually blow your account is to go to below the max loss threshold, which is true. But again, you still have to keep in mind that 30% consistency rule. Technically, you won't blow an account if you go over the 30% consistency rule, but you will make it a lot more difficult to pass that evaluation. And then the loss, yeah, so we talked about that. Then the activation fee, so this is the one where I was incorrect on, but yes, you basically have a $149 activation fee once you pass your evaluation account. That is a one-time fee, but that fee does apply to all your evaluations that you pass. It's not just a one-time fee and then you never have to pay it again if you blow an account. If you blow that account and you go through the evaluation process, you would have to pay that $149 fee again to get your next funded account, if that makes sense. Now, I do want to just spend a little bit of time as well talking about the discounts. So that's the other thing, the change they made. To me personally, I think this was the biggest change they made, was offering 60 to 70% discounts. That's a huge change for Topstep, because the thing that never made sense to me was just how expensive the evaluation accounts were, and then the whole payout policy. So the other thing I want to talk about before we get into this is you can only withdraw 50% of your profits forever. So once you become funded and you grow your account balance to $50,000 in profit, you can never withdraw more than 50% of your profit. And I have issues with that. I don't think that's right. I don't think that is a benefit to the trader. I think, those profits were made by the trader, and it's their funds. They should be able to decide how to use those funds as they see fit. It is not Topstep's or any prop firm's job to manage our profits, if that makes sense. They might think they're doing it for the right reason, and maybe they even are, but me personally, I don't think that is, they're not our financial advisor, is kind of my point. But then so the 50% discount, I just, again, do not care for that at all. I think it would be way more fair if they had a time limit on that. For example, after, 6 months of trading or whatever you want to do, then you have access and you can withdraw all of your funds. But the way they have it right now, the only way that you can withdraw all of your profits is to close your account. Close your account and start over. And to me, doesn't make sense. Or I guess if you start making less and less profit, then technically you could take out more and more of the profit. But does that sound like a good idea as a trader, to purposely not make too much money so that you can take out more of your profits? Like, that makes no sense. So that's my biggest, the cost of the evaluation accounts and their payout policy was the two things that really kept me from ever really taking Topstep seriously. Now that they offer 60 to 7% discounts, I think that is definitely good. I want to take a little bit of time to talk about Mike, the Topstep owner. I don't know. I'm going to put a link to Mike, the owner of Topstep, the podcast that he did with Corbs about 2 weeks ago, and what he had to say about these discount prop firms. Um, First of all, I thought came across very desperate. He sounded like a 2-year-old throwing a tantrum because he lost a ball game. I don't know. You can listen to it for yourself, but I did not think it came across very well at all. And he basically was calling these discount prop firms like Apex, he was calling them a casino and scratch off tickets, and they're not good for the trader. And now he basically turns around and is offering 60 to 70% discounts. He even accused these discount prop firms of whoring themselves out. Like, just I did not care for it at all. And now he turns around and does the exact same thing, is like just kind of a bad taste. But I think it is good for the trader, obviously. Doing these discounts is good. I just don't like the way that he was presenting it beforehand, and now he's doing the same thing. So it's like, what? But anyway, I think that is a good thing for the trader. Better discounts on these evaluation accounts. But and then as a whole, just like as a whole, these Topstep marketed this as it's going to change the industry. And they spent probably 2 weeks of advertisements, and, they have their influencers that promote Topstep. They get paid by Topstep to promote, and, everything was about these huge changes that are coming, and it's going to change the industry. And it didn't. Really, what happened was they're chasing the industry. They've been behind the 8 ball for a year or more, and now they're finally getting with the program, and they're chasing the industry. They're not changing. These changes didn't change the industry. They're just basically getting with the program finally. So were these changes good for Topstep? Yes, I do think so. Was it industry changing? No, not in my opinion. I had one of the Topstep on my previous video. A Topstep employee commented about, obviously he didn't appreciate my video, and he commented about, what does Apex offer that Topstep doesn't? And let me just tell you off the top of my head, and this is not spending a whole lot of time even thinking about it, but first, I can have 20 accounts versus 3. Second, I still have better discounts. Third, I personally like the payout policy better. I can actually withdraw my profits, not only 50%. And the commissions, that's one thing not a lot of people talk about. I actually saw a video with, man, I'm terrible at remembering names. I apologize. You know who you are. But he pointed out about the commission change, and it's like $1.50 round trip more in commissions with Topstep. But anyway, those are just some I can think of off the top of my head. Oh, and the ability to trade micros. That makes sense. But anyway, I still think it was good for Topstep, and it at least got them a little bit closer to the competition. And ideally, in all honesty, this is great for us as traders. If we can have, if Apex comes out now and makes changes, maybe Apex comes out and does end of day drawdown, I think that would be sweet. I really wish they would do that, and maybe these changes by Topstep, maybe that'll spur Apex to make some changes that will be better for the trader. And these competition within the prop firms really does benefit us as traders. So I think that is great. I think it's great that Topstep is kind of, yeah, getting with the program, so to speak. So anyway, that is all I want to share. Again, went way over on my time. It's already 20 minutes, so I apologize. But again, just wanted to share my thoughts, get this correction video out, and go from there. But either way, if you're trading with Topstep and you're making money, that is great. And that's what matters. If you're trading with wherever you're trading and you're withdrawing and it works for you, that is awesome. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for everyone's support. I appreciate it. And I won't be trading tomorrow, obviously July 4th, but I will be back on Wednesday, July the 5th. So everybody take care. God bless and have a safe July 4th.